What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. How are y'all doing? So I don't know how to approach the story that I'm about to do, so I'm gonna try to be as sensitive as I possibly can be, because this affects so many men and women. Every day we go off, we make our doctor's appointments, we say, hey, we need to get this checked out, I'm having this issue. Well, what do you do if lines are crossed? And I need y'all to be careful when you go to these doctors. And if you feel uncomfortable in any situation, please report it, okay? So more than 200 women and several men accused doctor-in-law of sexual abuse and unnecessary exams. And I have to mind my words. That's why I'm not using the full word, but you know what I'm saying. Before we get started, do me a favor. Please hit that like button, and definitely please share this video out so more people can protect themselves in a place that we shouldn't have to worry about being assaulted in. So this took place in Boston more than a decade ago. Kristen Fritz was struggling with pain in her spine and saw a rheumatologist recommended by her doctor at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. And I need to say, I'm just going to put in here allegedly, because this doctor has not been, found guilty of a crime, but he has been charged with this crime of all of these people that came to him needing help. So the visit with Dr. Derek Todd started normally for the 37-year-old New Hampshire woman, but as Todd progressed, he aggressively groped her breast, she said, to the point that he seemed to enjoy it a little too much. Only last year, when contacted by the hospital about Dr. Todd, she realized a line had been crossed and she was not alone. She says she feels so violated. She feels so ashamed for not knowing better in that moment, or what to do in that moment, should she report it or not. The feeling of being uncomfortable in that moment. Mind you, she went there to get her back checked out, but he was checking out her front. This article came from the Associated Press, and they say they typically do not, out their victims of sexual abuse. But Fritz, she decided she wanted to allow her name to be used to hopefully send a message out there that you don't have to be ashamed. If something like this happens to you, please come forward. So she is one of more than 200 women and several men who have joined the consolidated lawsuit against Dr. Todd in Massachusetts, Suffolk Superior Court. The lawsuit, combining several filed last year, accuses Dr. Todd of performing unnecessary pelvic floor therapy, breast examinations, testicular examinations, and rectal examinations on patients. It alleges that Dr. Todd, a former rheumatologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital whose specialty involves treating inflammatory conditions of the muscles, joints, and bones, began abusing patients in 2010, allegedly. It also accused several dozen other defendants, including Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital and Charles River Medical Associates, of knowing about the abuse and failing to stop it. They're also saying that the other thing that strikes them about this particular case is how could it have gone on for so long at this hospital and at this practice group without somebody recognizing it over that time period and becoming suspicious or whatever. They allowed him to continue to do this week after week, month after month, year after year, to more and more victims. Dr. Todd's lawyer said his client would not litigate this matter in the media, but he will defend his care as the case progresses through the Massachusetts Superior Court system. In April 2023, Brigham and Women's received 2 anonymous complaints about Dr. Todd and launched an internal investigation. Dr. Todd was told he couldn't conduct sensitive exams without a chaperone. What kind of foolishness is that? To me, that means you knew this man, if you want to call him that, this predator, was out here allegedly doing things to male and female patients. You tell a doctor who has gone to school for years, who has a degree, that, oh yeah, you can still practice. We're just going to make sure you have a chaperone in the room with you. After Dr. Todd was told he would be given a chaperone anytime he has to do a exam on a male or female patient, this is what happened. In June, he was placed on administrative leave, then terminated a month later. The hospital said it also notified the Department of Public Health, the State Board of Registration in Medicine, law enforcement, and his current and former patients. And that is how Miss Fritz found out about Dr. Todd, even though the whole time she was feeling like, this wasn't right. He shouldn't have been groping my breast. Anyway, in September, Dr. Todd reached a voluntary agreement with the Board of Registration in Medicine to stop practicing medicine anywhere in the country. No criminal charges have been filed against Dr. Todd, but several former patients have been interviewed by law enforcement. Do you think that Dr. Todd will continue to practice? Will he lose his license, or will they just slap him on his wrist and give him a chaperone? The hospital released a statement. They say, we are deeply troubled by the upsetting allegations of harmful conduct committed by Dr. Todd. We, the hospital, take our duty to care for our patients and keep them safe extremely seriously. We have and always will act decisively on any allegations of misconduct, as we did in this case. But did they really? Or did they tell him, we'll just give you a chaperone? The Charles River Medical Associates, who are also mentioned in the lawsuit, said it was never made aware of any complaints of inappropriate conduct by Dr. Todd, and said it reached out to patients to report their concerns. We are deeply troubled and saddened by these disturbing allegations and recognize the courage it took for these patients to come forward. And this was their statement. Apparently, y'all, and this is sad, apparently the victims range in age from teenagers to women in their 60s. The lawsuit alleged Dr. Todd would gain their confidence, go beyond treating their rheumatoid diseases, and become their only doctor while conducting invasive, unnecessary exams. Among them was a 33-year-old Massachusetts woman who struggled to find a doctor during the C-19 pandemic. She was thrilled that Dr. Todd called to help her with symptoms of tingling and numbness in her arms and her hands. Over 2 years, Dr. Todd became her primary doctor and gynecologist. And the lawsuit said the abuse intensified during her visits, including repeated vaginal exams. She said Dr. Todd would routinely comment on her body, ask her to strip naked, and make sure she was unaccompanied during exams. I'm not here to judge her on that, but I hope you all know this is not routine when you go to the doctor. No doctor is to talk to you in that manner of strip down or make sure you don't have anyone come to the exams or, those type of things and comment on your body. In that moment, she should have stopped and just walked out. But she didn't. I don't know if it was fear or she just did not know. Goes on to say, it honestly impacted every single component of my life because it just occupies every part of myself, from my self-confidence, said this woman, who reported Dr. Todd to the medical board after discussing his behavior with her gynecologist and realizing something was wrong. So obviously she did not know. This is not routine. This is not how a doctor is supposed to react and treat you in your care. Now, mind you, he's treating these patients for all of these things, but he's not even licensed for all of these things. This is me giving her the benefit of the doubt because I don't want to be the one judging her. But that is ridiculous that if I walk in, some of y'all know I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have lupus, and I deal with fibromyalgia. I have a rheumatologist. Not once has that ever been the conversation. You know, they ask you, how are you doing? They ask you if anything's bothering you, because nowadays things are linked depending on where you go. If you go to one hospital, it's sometimes now linked to other hospitals, so they can kind of keep track of everything that's going on with you, what that doctor said, etc. I don't know what's going on with this whole situation. This is insane. I truly, truly feel for her. I feel bad that she didn't know better, that she didn't know she was being abused, that she was being assaulted, accosted, whatever you want to call it. Those things were happening to her in that moment, and she thought, she knew it didn't feel right, but either she was afraid to come forward or whatever. But I feel bad for her and everyone else in that whole situation, especially the teenagers who did not know. You know, not everyone goes to the doctor, so maybe they don't know the protocol of what a doctor is supposed to be doing up in, you know, that office. Typically, if you're getting a vaginal exam, a doctor will automatically have a nurse or aide or somebody come in there, and that's to protect them and to protect you. He has not been put in jail yet. They're just investigating still. So we'll see if he's paying for, you know, everything that has happened to them. And I'm not just talking about a civil suit. This man needs to be locked up and serving some time for what he did. It's not for me to say how much time, but to just slap somebody on the wrist, take their medical license. So what? They can still pretend to be a doctor, because obviously he was pretending, even though he had a degree. He wasn't helping anybody with any of their issues. So he was pretending, and he'll pretend even more, even without a license. Hey, I'm a doctor. Set up a practice here, or do it from his home. People do weird things. And if you are a pedophile, you're definitely going to do this again. So I hope he gets some time. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video out. Again, more people need to know about this, especially women. But this is affecting men as well. So make sure you comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and hit that like button. And I will see you guys in the next video. Sorry for the downer of the video, but this is very important and needs to get out to more people.
I've been getting